Morning guys, so I'm just splitting the moulds this morning. I've already got the pangolin's tail and little hand out, so I'm just going to get the main body out now. So I just got all my moulds held together, the fiberglass jackets with little wing nuts, makes them really easy to get on and off. Some of my newer moulds I've actually put little hex heads on the bolts, and then I can use like a little impact driver to remove them, but this is an older mould, so I'm not swapping them over yet. So I've got like little location points on my rubber in the fiberglass, so just remove them and then slowly pull the jacket off, move them out of the way so I don't damage them. I think he is completely in two parts, so pull the other side off first. So far so good. So I was a bit worried about getting this one out that I might end up with loads of little air bubbles on the spikes if you watch the YouTube video where I roll it, but luckily he's come out really well. And I'm just gently letting the rubber come away. I don't want to pull too hard because it will break the wax, especially like this morning it's quite chilly here, so the wax becomes a little bit more brittle. You can be a bit more brutal with it in the summer, but I've got to be quite careful in the winter. So I always think the reverse of the moulds looks really cool, like the negative version of the sculpture. So yeah, I'll get that put back together, and he's ready for working. Get his tail put on and his little hand. But yeah, really excited to get him done in bronze. Quite a quick turnaround on that one again for Christmas, so yeah, happy days. Hi guys, so I'm just going to start working the pickles wax. So basically when I say working the wax, all I'm going to do is his little seam that runs along his centre, which is where the mould splits, and just work that in and make it all part of the sculpture again, and just check him over, make sure this one's a really good roll, so he's got hardly any air bubbles. But a few little minute ones, so I will just fill them in, smooth them over. So I don't know if I can show you them, they're also tiny. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little tiny air bubble there. And yeah, just basically make him all perfect, get his tail put on and his little arm so that he's all one piece again and ready for casting. So yeah, that's it really. So guys, I thought I'd show you a bit of a close-up of working in the seam. So basically, as you can see here, this is the seam of the mould. So I'm just gonna use a warm tool, which I'm just warming up in the Bunsen burner, and then just using the heat to melt the wax and remove the seam. So probably need to get a slightly better stand for my phone, because I'm sort of having to do this on a funny angle to be able to show you how I do it. But yeah, I'm using the warm tool to move the wax and just sculpting the scale so that it looks like the seam was never there in the first place. And then just like with sculpting, if I need like to put a little bit extra in, I can just put it on and again just melt it back in, and basically just slowly go over the full thing, making sure it's all perfect before I mount him ready for casting. So obviously these are a little bit rough because I'm sort of doing this on a side, I can't see that well. trying to sort of look over the phone a little bit. And then every single scale will be worked individually like this. So again, even at this stage, each one is a little bit unique. Obviously the idea is to get it as close to the original sculpture as possible, but because every bit is hand done, so I've just got a little bit of a Scotch-Brite Brillo pad, and I just use that to help smooth in the scales. And then when just smooth over the little bit of texture there. And that's pretty much it for that scale. And then I just move down and complete that on all the scales until the seam's completely gone. Right guys, so I have done all the seam on the pangolin body. Next step is to add the tail and the little arm. The arm is solid, but the tail is also hollow. So if I cut the end of each of these off, then we can join them and they'll all be one piece. So I've just got like a little hacksaw blade. I'm just warming that up in the Bunsen again and just gonna saw the ends out, and then when I've welded them together, again using just the wax, it'll all be one piece. My hacksaw blade is getting a little bit blunt, so this is becoming a little bit trickier than normal, but yeah, so you can see that's all hollow. And then the same on little pickles. Trying to do this quickly as possible, but not. Sorry about that guys, my phone's run out of storage, so I'm just going to weld the tail on. So again, I've just taken these ends off, so I'm going to weld the tail on next. So all I'm using is a scalpel blade and the bit of wax that I've just cut out. So all I do is literally warm up my scalpel blade so it's really hot, and then I dip it onto the wax. It doesn't necessarily have to be off the same piece, it can be off another piece of wax, but just get a nice colour match, not that it matters. And then literally just take the blade and push it into either side of the piece and the tail so that they become one. And then I just melt a bit off each side as well as I'm going to really key it in and lock both pieces together. I will, once I've got it tacked in place, I will bring it round and do a bit of a close-up to show you what I'm doing, but so I just do a bit of a tack on multiple parts. And then I'm sort of filling in the gap as well, because where I've cut the tail off when he was a sculpture, there is a bit of a gap between the two, just where I've had to put the wedge in. So if I try and hold that, don't know if you can see that very well. But that's literally all I'm doing, and then as I said, just sort of melting a bit from both sides to really lock it together. Again, just dipping into the bit of wax that I've got on the bench with the hot blade. So picking up a bit of wax and really melting the two parts together. So yeah, that's it. Carry on doing that all the way around, and also weld his little arm on, and that's it. Happy as you like. So guys, you can see that weld now. I'm just going to work it the exact same way that I did the seams earlier. So just moving it all in so it's all part of the same piece. So again, I'll go all over both welds, the little front legs on now as well. And then easy as that. It'll be one less check over, just check all the little bits of air bubbles, sculpt them all in, and then it'll be ready to start the mounting process. So I feel like I've probably showed you enough. You're probably getting a little bit bored of it all now. So I will show you him once he's finished. So I'll just do this last scale for you. And this is the exact same process for all my pieces really. Not all of them have got bits to be welded on. If I can, I do like to try and do the mould in one piece, but sometimes, like this is so complicated, it would be an absolute nightmare doing the mould all in loads of little pieces. So it was easier to cut the original sculpture and just then weld the pieces together. But yeah, see that little scale is pretty much done. I'll clean that one up next, and yeah, that's it.